Okay, I'm going into the Democratic National Convention this week. I'll be talking to you from that place, but you'll probably be seeing this video on Sunday after I've already arrived, or Monday, possibly. But I will be speaking to you from the convention for the next set of videos. Who knows what I'm going to be talking about then. But right now, we're still on reproductive freedom, women's rights. Now I get to Project 2025. Okay. What is this? Well, on the face of it, it looks like a manifesto. It looks like a Republican manifesto, and not all Republicans, but a very conservative sect of Republicans that have drawn up this plan and had drawn it up years ago, but it does have Trump's name in it 312 times. And he did verbally acknowledge his support of it. And then he changed his tune when he realized just how bad that was looking for him, because then Kamala Harris became his opponent. Now, they chose J.D. Vance, who co-authored Project 2025. All right, now let me tell you just a little bit about it, because I'll get into that even further down the road as the closer we get to the election, if people are not paying attention. Donald Trump is trying very hard to distance himself from this. It's not possible, because he is all over it. This is their plan for what is going to happen in the year 2025 if Trump gets elected. So there's no mistaking that. That's why it has the name it has, right? So basically for women, let me just tell you one of the things that is alarming about it. It defines what a family looks like. That means no government support for family. They're trying to get rid of public education. This is not me just making this up. This sounds so crazy and preposterous that it's not true. But that is what happens, is that somebody says something that sounds preposterous, and then 3 years later, this is what we're facing. 8 years ago, my father was saying, we need to impeach this guy the minute Donald Trump took office. We need to impeach him, we need to impeach him, we need to impeach him. The conversation we had was, Dad, we will. And he knew we didn't have the votes. I said, we just have to get the votes. And we will impeach this guy. I promised you that. And we did impeach him. Didn't stick, but we impeached him. I said in that same conversation, you do know that someone can be a felon and still serve as president of the United States. And my father said, they wouldn't do that. Now, understand something. My father's not your normal Democrat, I guess. He's a white Southern businessman, millionaire. He was in lumber manufacturing and wholesaling, right? In rural North Carolina. He was lieutenant governor of the state of North Carolina. And he's saying to me, they wouldn't do that. And sadly, I said, Dad, have you ever seen a loophole they have not been willing to drive a Mack truck through? He shook his head, and a lot of this was making him very sad at the time. So we moved on to other topics. But what I'm saying to you now about the potential dissolution of the United States of America, about what is in Project 2025, is the absolute truth. And I've never seen a loophole that people who are very right-winged have not been willing to drive a Mack truck through, even to make you believe that somehow Donald Trump is associated with Jesus Christ. And by the way, Jesus already saved us. So we don't need a savior. We have one. And it's not Donald Trump. That I find to be incredibly sacrilegious. But that's just me. So let's get back to Project 2025. I'll say more about that. But they also advocate that when women are pregnant, that they have no drugs, only massage, no assistance, medical assistance with, drugs at childbirth. So there'll be more deaths based on, need of emergency C-sections, but they won't be able to have them. So that's the kind of world they want. They want a family that looks the same way, almost Stepford wife-ish, if you remember that. Everybody living in a, house and 3 kids and 2.5 cars in the garage, very Mad Men, if you're familiar with that show. There are women who want lives like that, and they can have lives like that today. There are women that don't have lives like that due to death or men leaving the household, or they don't have children, they have cats. Point is, if you have your rights and your freedoms, then you're supported by society in the United States, in this country, to be whatever you want to be. Housewife, activist, CEO. That's true for women today. But you go to Project 2025 and you elect the other guy another time, the rights to speak up, the rights to vote, the rights to have a choice, and what happens to your sovereign self goes away. My dad had a hard time believing that they would run a felon, or that a felon could be sitting in the White House. This is hard to believe, but believe it. You don't want to be sorry that you didn't pay attention. So it's very important that you vote, very important that you vote for freedom and for rights of women. We do not go back. Thanks for being here. This is Behind the Curtain, IMO.